there are a couple of reasons. In the law school class I teach with people, when I go down and teach students, I tell them that most businesses can't afford how long it takes to resolve a dispute in our legal system. The economic cycle is moving so much faster than the legal cycle. Is you can't wait that long to get it resolved. And so you've been forced to find ways to do it. And so if you get entangled in the legal system, what you're doing is saying, we never want to do business anymore, and we're going to split, and now we're just going to count up the damages on both sides. But the reality is, for most businesses, is you can't afford to split. In fact, you need to resolve this dispute, but you still need to do business together. And if every time you have a conflict it means you're going to split, it's not going to be very long for you can't do business anymore. You're not going to be a successful business, you're not going to be a successful family, a successful community, if that's how you resolve everything, and you have a process that takes so long and is so cumbersome that in the end, and adversarial, that you split. And so what are people doing on their own? They're finding other ways to move around the legal system. And that's why when you look at contracts now, almost all of them require mediation. Even credit card companies, mediation, arbitration, all of these things to bypass the legal system. You know, what does that tell us as a legal system? We're not doing the kind of job we should. You know, we're not training lawyers, we're not training the whole court system itself. Maybe it needs to stop and examine and say, okay, how can we do this better? If the process we have in place doesn't keep commerce going, doesn't keep communities going, doesn't do that, then let's find a way that does. And I think there are a lot of ways to do that. And that's one of the things I hope to do, is help to institute and provide a foundation that supports all the wonderful ideas that are out there to do this. And as Kim said, in Lawyers as Peacemakers and going through, you know, there's a lot of ways that we're doing this, whether it's collaborative law or restorative justice, all the ADR, mediation. There are so many things that are working out there. Is one better than the other? I'm not so sure. I think all of them have tremendous value in certain areas, in certain circumstances. We need to encourage and teach and develop all of them if the net result is that we have a system that we can resolve conflict easier, we can restore that greater peace and everything in our society. You know, anything that we can do to do that is going to be a benefit. I think we need to realize as attorneys, we have a tremendous role to play in it if we're willing to look at things just a little bit differently. And if we're willing to get out of the box a little bit, and, you know, like those pioneers that started drug court in Florida. I mean, we're talking only about 15 years ago, and now it's a movement. That same member of the court that told me that he didn't believe that we should have drug courts, that wasn't a proper role of the courts. 2 years after drug court was instituted and we got the money and had it in every county, when they gave the State of the Judiciary address to the legislature, that was the lead statement of the value of the courts in Utah. So it went from, we shouldn't even do it, after an experience of 2 or 3 years of doing it, to say, this is one of the most important things we do as a court system. You know, and I think that change is the kind of change that it's going to happen. One way or the other, it's going to happen. The question is, can we be a good part of it? Can we be a valuable part of it? My son is an attorney. He's been a practicing attorney for about 5 years. He practiced in the military. I want his experience in the law to be as good as my experience in the law. For my grandsons or granddaughters, if they go into that, I'd like them to have that experience too. So I think there's a legacy that we can help leave if we can restore that kind of feeling and understanding back into the law.